my name is Russell Wilks, RUSSELLWILKS, and this is the Muscle Voodoo online channel. And today I'm going to be answering questions by a guy who has contacted me, a guy in Spain called Pepe, who was training 5 days a week with the bodybuilding. He's now looking for some best. He's now working about 14 hours a day supposedly, and he doesn't have the time to go to the gym for an hour a day, 4 or 5 times a week, and he's looking for the best sort of strength and mass and muscle building sort of exercise you can do with expanders, bands and cables. So I'm going to do a couple of these videos, I think, but in this one the criteria is this: it's got to be quick, it's got to be fast, it's got to be intense, it's got to be a really good bang for your buck,
etc. And if you remember the standing reverse fly, the whole point to it was hands in like so, out, pull it like this and come out and either hold it, etc. Front cross press is recap there, hand down, bottom hand down, top hand up, pull it like so, like this, and change that, you see? Now, another movement, if I may, if you can see that, my little stickman drawings. I was just thinking, standing reverse, so front cross press, we're going to maybe do a front crucifix. Front crucifix is very much like a lat pull down. Obviously we're in a gym here, you just usually use the lat pull down or single left to do this, but we're talking about the expanders. The way to do this is, it's a bit like a front cross press, except it's over your head, vertical, and you can do it hands, palms in first, if you want to. That's the easiest. If you turn them out, on any movement where the palm faces out, you be very careful. Firstly, you get your shoulders right down. Secondly, that your traps are not getting involved. And thirdly, that you don't pull the edge of your trap. It's very common to pull the outer edge of your trapezius muscle when you do any kind of palms out pressing or pulling. So, like so, above the head, like this, and just come down like that and hold on the chest. You can do an isometric if you want, or you can do reps, etc., 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 like so, like that. That's the front crucifix. You can do this to the rear as well if you want to. Again, like so, just pull it out and out back like that, making sure you don't let it go, obviously, so you don't wallop yourself in the head. That's a really nice, and that goes into almost into a whippet. Another one, it's a famous one, is called skinning the cat. Or skin the cat. Skin the cat is basically a whippet, which is a shoulder dislocation, which is not as violent as it sounds. Shoulder dislocation into a front spread. So when you do that, you want to put your hands palm into the palms face out. All you do is take it over your back, like this, into a whippet. And a whippet is essentially when you're pushing out against the joint, as such, like this, like so. And now, under tension, full tension, bring it up over your head and into a front spread, like this. And then back over and back into a whippet. And push back against the joints, your shoulder blades should be pinned together. As such, you should hold that dynamic tension and let it come all the way down, as far down your back as you can. It's a bit harder the further down your back you get. And then up and over and all the way down to the front. Again, it's harder the further down your front that you go. If you go right down to your solar plexus and across your abs, it's harder. Up over the back again, and then if you go the further down your back you go, blah blah blah, the harder it is on your shoulders. Doing that, do that for about 30-40 seconds, something like that. Brilliant movement, skin the cat, etc. These are with this, they were meant to be 150 kilo resistant. I got no clue what they are now. I should imagine they're about 100 kilos maybe, if that. Thinking about these cheap latex expanders, they're obviously cheap and easy to use, but you really need to get a decent made one where the latex is not going to lose. Some of it's push and pull, some of it's load and such. So, just to make sure, we have this. That's a proper expander. That is obviously a Spenby, and I'll get to that in a minute. So get into this. This is the Spenby. I think some metal expanders much harder to pull than latex. I don't know how much this is, probably about 180 pounds, maybe a little bit more, but as I said, they're hard to push and pull. I think maybe even it might be 200 pounds, I don't know for sure. But again, the same movements like so. So a downward crucifix like that, coming to there and holding and doing reps with it. And I said the front cross press, like so, it's pretty hard to do. Like that is, you really get to know how hard you can go with those movements. A few other things I want to talk about, because we're talking about what you can do quickly. So you've had a standing reverse fly, front cross press, skin the cat. That's probably one of the best movements you can do in terms of as an isometric, continuous isometric hold to the joint. There's no movement around the joints, but there's movement of the arms up and over. It's a very, very old movement, that is. There's also things like a punch press. Now obviously we're in a gym, you can use a cable stack for that if you want, but basically you get what a punch press is probably. Let's just take this. So realistically you want to be in some kind, this is a little bit long for that, but essentially what you want to be doing is you want your guard to be up and you want it to be a bit of a, you want it to be shorter actually. Let's think about this. No, not good. So punch press is just literally punching out, but this is not short enough for that. You would basically take a shorter, tighter piece, latex band of some description, and you would basically punch out from it. And I said another way of doing it is with a cable stack like this and just punching like that. Simply put, with a punch press then, what you want to do is use the backhand like this, like so, guard up, and just punch out. I'm not using very much weight at the moment, just using about 30 kilos just to demonstrate. Make sure the other hand's up. The better thing about with a latex band or expander of some kind is the fact that you can actually, you've got the two and you have to hold the guard in position, which is far better than just doing kind of just a single arm press like this. But you're actually taking it like that and getting an extension. You can do quite a heavy weight with it. It's not that difficult to do. Just get this kind of coming through motion like this. As such, this hand in tight. And if you had a shorter band, I don't have one with me. Well, actually, yes, I do. Get a shorter band, then you would see, for example, these are little 12-inch battle bands. They call them 140 pound resistance. So you could do the similar kind of thing with this. You just got to get hold of it, and you're doing this like so, almost like an archer's pull, and punching out. So hold this backhand in and punch it out like that, and just push it out and punch it out like that. Nice. I just thought I'd feature these. Nice, actually, little bit of kit. These battle bands, 12-inch battle bands. These are 140 purpley ones. They are, I don't know how much they are, about 10 each, I think. Nice, really, really handy to have. And as I said, with a standard expander, you're a little bit too much, like so. But when you've got a really tight expander, very small, short expander, like so, you're punching out and you hold this guard up so that it's really tight. So you just get this coming across your body as well to hold it up in place. So you're not just letting your rear hand fly out and you're punching out with this one whilst dropping this. This was up really tight. As I said, this is a little bit too long for that purpose. But that is essentially a punch press. So we've done a standing reverse fly, standing reverse fly, front cross press, some version of a punch press, etc. Skin the cat, which is basically a whip it into a front spread, which is, I think, one of the best movements you can do at all. It's just phenomenal. And then, obviously, what else we did? Oh, we did a crucifix, a front crucifix and a rear crucifix. And now, this one, which is a little bit weird, this is essentially it's basically a bent forward arms apart. I said it's a bit like a whippet. Essentially, I'll turn the side on, you can see what I'm doing, but basically from the front, you can see, I'm going to have the expander down like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread the thing out behind me whilst hinging forward at the waist. It's a little bit, it's kind of got a cross between a good morning and a triceps extension and everything else involved, but it's really mega for your back and your posterior chain. So you hinge forward by about 45 degrees, spread it out, and do that. You can see it's like a whippet, and spread, and try and spread out behind you, like that. From the side it looks like this. It's quite hard to do, really, really hardcore on your shoulders, your traps, your back, your posterior chain. The next day you do it, you'll be thinking, I didn't work hamstrings, I didn't work calves, I didn't work my lower back. Why are all those things really knacking as such, right? So essentially this is the movement from the side. You get over it like this, you open, lean forward, hinge forward, like so, and spread out and hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12. And if you try and spread that, that's actually mega for your back, your shoulders, your triceps, traps, everything. That's called a bent forward arms apart. I don't know what the actual old style name for it is. It's a little bit like a whippet, but it's not a whippet because you're leaning, you're hinging forwards from there. So anyway, that's what's that? Front cross press. No, sorry, standing reverse fly, front cross press, punch press, skin the cat, front crucifix, bend forward. So bend 6, 7, is that 7? 7, including the bend arms apart. There's a couple of other things as well. There's loads and loads of exercises you can do, obviously, but it's when you want to create a little system that gives you maybe 10-15 minutes training where you can do it really, really fast. If you do say 3 or 4 sets of standing reverse fly to start, 3 sets of front cross press both sides, obviously a couple of sets of this. These are that bent forward arms apart. It's great as an isometric movement. You can just hold that, hold it 20 seconds against like quite heavy resistance, and you'll really feel it. My inner triceps there just kind of whoa. Really, really great movement that is. And again, the crucifix is excellent for your shoulders and your back and everything else. On another videos we'll talk about lower body movements and simple sort of 5 to maybe 10 to 15 minutes of training session for your legs and stuff. Most people, when they think about expanders, because they have handles on them, they think about using them primarily for the hands, but obviously you can use with loads and loads of leg oriented exercises you can do. Obviously, if you're not going to the gym that much and you need to make up time by training at home, then things like this are brilliant training devices. Otherwise, you can get yourself to the gym a couple of times a week, and you can train with gravity, with weights against gravity. The thing about expanders is the fact that they have greater resistance pound for pound than weights because of the elastic tension, if you like, in an expander is more powerful than that of gravity. Hence why if you pull a band and then loose it, it just flies up, it flies away because it's thing like that, because it's elastic tension, if you like. So anyway, those are a few exercises that might give you some ideas for things to do. There are hundreds of others. I'll show you one more, maybe a couple more, actually a couple more that you can do if you've got some shorty bands. So bear with me. So now we're going to use this, as I said, the battle band, the shorty battle band. They're called deadlift bands actually. They're for basically hooking on the floor and then hooking over your bar and maybe doing your sort of, working through your sticking point off the floor, building it up in strength-wise for your deadlift. But they're brilliant for absolutely everything else, and you can actually get them over your legs and do as a hip band, so where you push out against and sort of warm up your glutes that way and make them fire. So what I want to do with this now is not a particularly dynamic movement, but you'll be surprised at what the effect this has. This is called a V-hinge or a V-hinge arms apart. And you actually see it in things like Pilates, where they do this, basically tuck your elbows in and then move your you're trying to take your thumbs back as if you're trying to take your thumbs all the way back there, but obviously with both arms you can only go so far. If you do it against resistance with this here battle band, you put your arms in like this, I can take the watch off, I think. Put your arms in like this. And this is a great movement for your middle, centre back, traps, your thoracic spine, and your spina rectus, and also, of course, your posterior chain. The reason why it's working your posterior chain very hard is the fact that firstly, you're bracing against resistance, and that resistance is away from you, so you're getting the consequences of leverage are involved. So it's not just the load. Obviously, the further the load is away from your body, the greater the greater resistance, because it's amplified by leverage. This is why all these movements with expanders, etc., are all quite difficult to do, because a lot of them take place in this kind of range, or this kind of range, or this kind of range, or this kind of range. They're going moving out or in or across or in some way the body, which makes the movement more difficult and more potent. So it's not just about how much resistance it is, but also the leverage as well. Right, anyway, you put your arms in like this, as if you were shackled there. And what you're going to do is keep your elbows pinned on your chest, and it's, as I say, it's not going to move very much, but I'm trying to take my thumbs back around there or around there, and you just do this, try and pull apart like that. Move, you keep going. Oh, you can see it's almost like a sort of Fujianese kung fu sort of, block, this kind of thing, like that. Very kind of, this kind of system, or something you see in Sanchin, something like that, in one of the Fujianese systems like Emperor Fist, Taijo, or Five Ancestors, or White Crane, etc., and the Okinawa karate systems that came from them. So you've got this kind of movement, this, like that. It's very useful for that, but what it actually works is your centre back, the top of your spina erector muscles, where the traps come down and the lats come up, and when they all meet, right in the centre of your back there, thoracic spine as they call it. That's really, really good for that. It's also brilliant and awesome for your shoulders, as I said, because of the load and the leverage. You're feeling your hamstrings, your calves, which is another go at that, because I like that a lot. It's a really functional movement. Again, also your rotator cuffs. All the movements I've just shown you will really, really work, make your rotator cuffs like iron. And the reason being is the fact that all these movements involve generally some sort of external rotation of the shoulder. So this, for example, is externally rotating the shoulder on both sides. This, obviously, classically, the classic standing reverse fly is a perfect example of something that fully moves your shoulder out to a full extension, etc. The lean forward or bend forward, arms apart, another one is doing the same thing. Your shoulders are externally rotating. Absolutely brilliant. So there we have it then, that's 7 or 8 expander movements that you can do in your own home. Really great for strength and mass, depending on how you train with how many reps. My name is Russell Wilks, RUSSELLWILKS. This is the Muscle Voodoo channel. Subscribe, like, etc. Links to products by me, written by me, created by me in the description. Thank you very much. See you on another video. Ta-ra.